I've been waiting. Waiting on that time. Feel me? I've been waiting on yours. That moment, it's close. It's close. Yeah.
Tired of living day to day like everything's alright. Just waiting on that
So
moment.
it's Aggie basketball. 18.5 seconds left in the game. The shot clock is turned off, so Davis can hold for the final shot. Long Beach State must play the best defense of their season right now. Paolo Mancasola crosses the timeline. 13 seconds to go. Looks to the right. Now back to the left. They're trying to get into Sipkins, but can't. 8 seconds. Mancasola puts it on the deck. Moves left to the key. Wheels middle into the corner. A three for the win is no good. And that is your ball game. Ryan Howley with the miss. The 49ers have come to Davis, and in front of a packed house, they have won the ball game, and they have clinched the Big West Conference Championship by their lonesome. And we'll head to Anaheim for the Big West Tournament 1 week from tonight as the #1 overall seed.
Next time I slam, as long as I stay hustling, I'm gonna shine. Just waiting on that moment. Waiting on my moment.
What's up, 49er fans?
Just waiting on.
Welcome into the Long Beach State Men's Basketball Show here on Spreaker.com, an affiliate of National Sports. My name is Chris Sylvester, your host as always. And Long Beach State, for the third consecutive season, has won the Big West Conference regular season title. This time, getting a hard-fought, hard-earned 1-point victory on the road at a packed pavilion up in Davis, California against the UC Davis Aggies. Once again, welcome in to the Long Beach State Men's Basketball Show here on Spreaker.com, an affiliate of National Sports. Chris Sylvester here with you. 18-11, 14-3 in the Big West Conference. Long Beach State improving after this 1-point victory at Davis. They are now guaranteed a postseason appearance for the third time in a row, something that hasn't happened since the days of Jerry Tarkarian when he was the coach at Long Beach some 30 plus years ago. But this is a new era for Long Beach State men's basketball, and this program, considering where it was about 4 or 5 years ago, is looking awfully impressive as we talk to you right now. Huge win on a nationally televised game this past Thursday, ESPN2, at UC Davis. UC Davis hosting their first ever home nationally televised game. They got everybody and their mother out to the game, but it still wasn't enough to knock off the Big West regular season champs, the Long Beach State 49ers. Start with a first half where Long Beach got off to a fantastic start. Yes, you heard me right. They got off to a fantastic start for the first time in a long time. And unfortunately, with about 10 minutes to go in the first half, looking very impressive on both sides of the ball, got kind of let up. Corey Hawkins was able to do his thing for Davis in the first half and pulled the game to a razor-thin 36-35 lead for the 49ers at the half. Davis comes out in the second half on a big run. Got the lead up to 5-6 points. But Long Beach never gave up. Myself, watching that game, I gave up a couple of times. Now, in the opening minutes, you have a Long Beach State team that plays some of the best second half basketball in the nation, but looks like a under 500 team in the first half. That's the only way I'm going to put it right now. But they finally get off to a good start, and then kind of go back into snooze mode for the last 10 minutes of the first half, let Davis get back in the game. Still fortunate to be up by 1 at the half, something we're not very used to in difficult games. And then in the second half, Davis got in rhythm. They are a good offensive team. They're one of the best three-point shooting teams in the nation. But Long Beach took the hits, absorbed them, and gave the hits back at the Aggies. Mike Caffey, as usual, at the end of the game, hitting a couple big three-pointers. Peter Papa George chipped in with a clutch 8 points off the bench. And what can you say about James Ennis? 38 minutes, 24 points, 14 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. 4 for 5 from the free throw line, 2 for 5 from beyond the arc, 9 for 17 from the field. Call him Mr. Lou Henson. Probably not going to win the Lou Henson Award just because of the fact that there are a lot of other fantastic mid-major players with more publicity around them than James, such as Doug McDermott and Nate Walters, just to name a few. But James Ennis is having just a spectacular season. And you can use many words to describe the senior season. A kid last year who came to the program from a junior college and kind of filled in as that 5th starter behind the Fab Four. And we finally saw, or not finally saw, we first saw what he could do in that win over number 9 Pitt last year when he had 19 points. And a barrage of steals to go on with that as well. James Ennis, very improved since last season, might I say. We knew that the NBA scouts were even looking at him last season. And I'm pretty sure they're quite focused on him this season as well. Not getting away from the game too much, but I'm just so proud of this guy that he's come a long way. And from being the 5th option scoring-wise on last year's team to being the guy here for Long Beach to really, for the most part, putting the team on his back in a lot of these games and willing them to victory. He will be much missed next season. But we're not looking at next season at all until this one wraps up. And hopefully it wraps up the way we all want it to wrap up, and that's with a trip to the NCAA tournament and possibly who knows what when you get to the NCAA tournament. We'll save that talk for later. But James Ennis is just something out of a movie. He's so athletic. He can hit the 3 ball. His dunks are some of the best dunks in the nation. I mean, this guy just puts on a show for you. I can't wait to see this kid's highlight tape. When the season's all said and done. A full highlight tape of all his highlights throughout the season, because he has a lot of them. Tony Freeland, another guy. A lot of people mix up James Ennis and Tony Freeland out on the court. Now, James is a little bit more lean and a little bit faster than Tony, but these guys, I mean, if you just look at them, they're kind of look similar, but they don't really play similar. Obviously, Freeland's not a guy that's going to go way outside and shoot buckets or really drive the lane, but you got to be impressed with his play since becoming eligible December 29th against the Pacific Tigers at the start of conference play. Tony Freeland, 37 minutes, 21 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, only 2 turnovers, 9 for 16 from the field, 3 for 5 from the free throw line. I'm extremely happy that this kid transferred to Long Beach State. First of all, he is a great guy if you have ever talked to him. Tony Freeland, one of the most friendly basketball players you'll ever come upon. And second of all, he's a heck of a player as well. Now, has he showed that consistently throughout the season? Not really. But, I mean, we've seen glimpses of it, and we've seen Tony come up huge when he needs to. And this was a game when he needed to come up huge because Long Beach clearly had the size advantage inside on UC Davis, and Dan Jennings didn't do all that much on the offensive side of the ball. Only played 25 minutes, did Mr. Jennings. So Tony Freeland was able to get off to this fantastic start and was able to, he did cool down a little bit, but he never stopped attacking the glass. He wasn't in foul trouble, only had 2 on the game, so he got to play 37 minutes. And when Tony Freeland doesn't get into foul trouble, he is a very effective player. He didn't have such a hot game against UC Irvine or Stephen F. Austin the 2 games before this because he was in foul trouble. He did a good job of not hacking at guys and not having to contest shots when they're probably going to be made, if that made any sense. But when Tony Freeland doesn't get in foul trouble, I mean, he is one heck of a player in the Big West Conference. Because, we've been asking for, we want a post player. We were so used to, seeing T.J. Robinson go to work every night, get his 12 and 10. And, Jennings, I don't want to say hasn't panned out, but we all know that, some of us expected a little bit more out of Dan Jennings. And is it time to hang it up on Dan Jennings? Absolutely not. Because I've said this multiple times on the show, and I'm going to say it again. He's showed us what he can do when he's comfortable. It's just a matter of fact of getting this guy comfortable. What it's going to take, I don't know. But he's had some good games this season. Maybe not what we expected because of his size compared to other quote-unquote bigs in the Big West Conference. But he has been pretty effective for Long Beach State this season, but I think all of us expected just a little bit more out of Dan Jennings. But hey, he's got another year to prove himself, and I have a feeling we're going to see a completely different Dan Jennings come next season. And, we could see the Dan Jennings that we saw at Syracuse, Ohio State, or UCLA today against Pacific. Or in the tournament. So, I mean, it's not like the 49ers really need Dan Jennings to be so effective offensively to win ball games, but it would certainly help. And it would certainly almost guarantee the 49ers wins. Because if Dan Jennings can start to dominate inside against these smaller teams, then there's no stopping Long Beach State. Because if he starts dominating inside, that means they'll take away the double team because that's what they're doing right now. He's going to learn how to dominate the double team. Or at least pass out of it and find an open shooter. Because if he learns that, and I know we've been saying this for a while now, but it's never too late to learn. If he learns how to do that, Long Beach State becomes 10 times more dangerous because that gives them, 1, dangerous shots from the outside, and 2, an opening lane down low. An open lane down low. Because if Dan Jennings can learn how to kick out to an open shooter and these open shooters start knocking down these shots, then you have probably the other team not double-team Dan Jennings. And if you put Dan Jennings one-on-one against, let's say, a 6'6 guy or a skinny 6'7 guy, which basically is most of the bigs in this conference outside of Vander Joachim and Al Williams, maybe throw in Brian Bennett of Cal Poly in there as well. Chris Patton, UC Riverside, but Long Beach won't be seeing them again this season. But if you put Dan Jennings in a mismatch where he's clearly favored, he's probably going to win the battle every time. Now, do we expect this improvement just to happen overnight? No, not at all. But I'm sure that's something that he's working with day in and day out with the coaching staff. And we've seen glimpses of, him getting a little bit better down low in the paint and passing the ball. But we all know that it can be a little bit better. And that's certainly what we're hoping for. And I think we're going to have to rely on Dan Jennings in one of these 3 games in the Big West Conference Tournament, if we're fortunate enough to get 3 games. Because, gosh, this is a much improved conference this season, and anything can happen on any given night. Mike Caffey, gotta like the stats from him. He did put up 20-plus points the last 2 games against Irvine and Stephen F. Austin, but those were both losses. And I think Mike Caffey is at his best when he scores only when he has to. And just kind of focuses on facilitating. Because he had 4 assists and 0 turnovers. Long Beach only 8 turnovers on the game. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. And that's a good sign because they go into a loud environment. Now UC Davis, are they anywhere close to a team that Long Beach might see if they make it to the NCAA tournament? Or are they even up there with teams like Pacific and Cal Poly, who the 49ers might see in the Big West Conference tournament championship game if they make it there? No. But to play in front of a raucous crowd like that and keep yourself composed for Long Beach State, that's a very good sign. And something, hopefully, that they can translate over to today and in the Big West Conference Tournament at the Honda Center in Anaheim. Mike Caffey with 11-4. Keala King got into foul trouble early, and it's a good sign that Long Beach won this game without the help of Keala King, who went off for 22 last time Long Beach played UC Davis. Yeah, he went 2 for 8 from the field, but you didn't really see him take any unnecessary shots. You didn't really see him drive too much like he did against Irvine and dominate because he really didn't have to. And because he was in such foul trouble, only played 29 minutes. Mike Caffey got into some foul trouble as well. He only played 29 minutes as well, to be noted. So certainly, if Long Beach can get a performance out of their starting lineup where everyone scores in double digits, they're going to win most of the time. Luckily, Long Beach was able to get 12 points off the bench tonight, something that hasn't happened in quite a while. Peter Papageorge was able to step up, hit 2 huge 3-pointers for the 49ers. Another shot where his foot was on the line was a 2. And, Kyle Richardson, a lot of us had given up on this guy after he's struggled lately, but he had a nice game coming off the bench, played 11 minutes, went 2 for 3 from the field, 4 points, only 1 rebound. But, if you can get contribution out of Kyle Richardson at this point, it's really just a bonus for this team. And the bench has certainly got to step up if Long Beach wants to get to the NCAA tournament. And, you'd like to see maybe Munson go to his bench a little bit more today, knowing that, this game, if you win it, you just boost your RPI and it looks better on your resume. But let's face it, Long Beach isn't going for an at-large bid. They're probably looking square in the face at a 15 seed in the NCAA tournament. Now, if they do knock off Pacific today and win the Big West Conference tournament and knock off Pacific again, they can possibly work themselves into a 14 seed. But obviously, that's to be worried about if in fact, Long Beach does get to the NCAA tournament once again. But certainly the bench is going to need to step up if they want that to happen. Chris Goley and Deng Deng have been absolutely non-existent in the past 3-4 weeks. And these guys are young guys. Goley's only a sophomore. Deng's a freshman. And they're both pretty good defensive players, but what Long Beach needs out of them right now is their three-point shooting and their offensive capabilities. Something they haven't shown, like I said, in a good 3-4 weeks. And something that they're going to need to show soon, because I don't think that Long Beach will win 3 games in 3 days without production off the bench. And with that being said, I don't think any team in the Big West without bench production is going to win 3 games in 3 days. But somebody's going to do it. We can't finish in a tie in college basketball. Somebody's going to do it. You just hope that it's Long Beach State. But, hey, they're going to the postseason no matter what. Whether that's the NIT or the NCAA tournament, we'll know in a week from today. And can you believe it? Today is the last regular season game of the season up at Pacific. Yes, up at Pacific. The game I've been talking about all season long is finally here. I don't know how the 49ers are going to win this game. It's Pacific's last in the Big West. It's Coach Bob Thomason's last game as Pacific's head coach at home. And it's senior night up at the Alex Spano Center in Stockton, California. We'll preview that game and much more when we get that back to the Long Beach State men's basketball show here on Spreaker.com, an affiliate of National Sports. Hey, stay with us.
I really want to show you off. Fuck that. Pour up plenty of champagne.
Work hard, play hard, work hard, play hard, work hard, play hard, work hard, play hard.
Work, 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 work.
Diamonds all in my ring, player. Gold watches, gold chain, player. $100 champagne, player. Yeah, my money insane, player.
Welcome back to the Long Beach State men's basketball show, 49er fans. My name is Chris Sylvester, here on a Saturday, game day, last game of the regular season at Pacific. 5 p.m. start, Fox Sports. Watch it. I'm going to watch it. Chris Sylvester here with you, as always. Thanks for tuning in once again. Long Beach State, 18-11. They've wrapped it up. It's all over, regular season-wise, in the Big West Conference. Pacific was hoping that this game would be a game to decide who wins the conference. But Long Beach took care of business in Davis against the Aggies, and well, this game's all for naught if you're not somebody who likes to win. I'm sure both these teams want to win, but I have so much trouble thinking that Pacific's gonna lose this game. Now, do I not have confidence in Long Beach State? It's not really that. It's just that these kind of games, just like a team like Pacific, who's in this situation, the last game, last regular season game as a member of the Big West Conference. Last game at home. Last regular season game ever for Coach Bob Thomason. He's been coaching for longer than I've been alive for the Pacific Tigers. And it's just the last game of the season. Season seniors on this Pacific team, you know, they're going to be playing their hearts out as well in front of likely a packed house at the Spano Center. I've been saying it all year. Gosh, they scheduled us with a tough one at Pacific. You know, Pacific's never been an easy place for Long Beach to go and play at. That's no secret. An 8-point victory there last year, in part because Casper Ware dropped 39 points. And the year before, able to escape with a 1-point victory at Pacific. These teams always play each other very closely. And I'm not going to lie, I'm going to be a little bit saddened by, Pacific leaving the Big West and heading over to the WCC. I certainly hope that Long Beach and Coach Dan Munson and whoever Pacific's next coach is can work something out to where these teams might play a home-and-home non-conference series with each other to keep this quote-unquote rivalry alive. Now, this isn't the black and blue rivalry or the Long Beach State Cal State Fullerton rivalry exactly, but I'd say over the years that Pacific and Long Beach State have become pretty good foes, and it's gonna be a little bit of a bummer not to see these two teams play each other at least twice a year in the Big West Conference anymore. Now, I do think Hawaii's a great addition, but like I said, you don't like to lose such a great program like Pacific, who's been in the Big West for, like I said, longer than I've been alive. Keys to this game for Long Beach State, you just got to come out and play hard, because that's certainly what Pacific's going to do. This game, reminiscent to the game last week at UC Irvine. You have senior night, probably a packed house, and you have a team that won't take a loss over there on the other side. But you have to give yourself a chance by getting off to a good start. And if you're Long Beach State, if you go into snooze mode at any point in this game, you're probably not going to win. Pacific hasn't lost a Big West game at the Alex Spanos Center all season long. Yeah, they had 2 non-conference losses there to a good Oral Roberts team and a decent Santa Clara team. But, this is college basketball. Teams change, momentum changes, and I'd say Pacific has some pretty good momentum as we speak. They're on a 3-game winning streak, have played some very good defense as of late, and, like I said, haven't lost to a Big West opponent this year at the Alex Spanos Center, and are looking to finish their last regular season as a member of the Big West undefeated at home against Big West opponents. Now, is there a good chance that if Long Beach State makes it to the championship game of the Big West Conference tournament, is there a good chance that they'll see Pacific there? I would think so. Pacific has knocked off every team in the conference to date, except for Long Beach State. And you could have said the same thing for UC Irvine a couple of nights ago, but they knocked off UC Irvine a couple of nights ago. This team is not going to wow you with spectacular plays or, superstar power. But this team is exactly that, a team. Nobody on this team averages more than 11.5 points per game, and that's their fantastic point guard, Lorenzo McLeod. Nobody on this team is going to wow you with their size. The tallest guy in their starting lineup is 6'6". Does that mean anything? No. We saw a Stephen F. Austin team come in and show Long Beach who's boss a couple weeks ago with their tallest guy at 6'6" in the starting lineup. Tony Gill, who comes off the bench for the Tigers, he's 6'8". He gets fairly significant minutes for Pacific, and he can score the basketball, 6.6 points per game, but he's exploded in the last couple of games for the Pacific Tigers, points-wise. This is another team that plays somewhat of a burn offense, but you certainly can't give this team open looks from beyond the arc, because they will eat from beyond the arc. They'll get hot like Dylon beyond the arc. And we saw UC Davis make 11 threes against Long Beach State. And Pacific isn't nearly as good of a three-point shooting team as Davis, but they have the shooters on this team to kill you from beyond the arc if you give it to them. And that's something that we've seen Long Beach do a few times this season, something they can't afford to do today. If you're Long Beach State, once again, like is the case in pretty much every other Big West Conference game, you got to take advantage of your size and athleticism. I'm a broken record, but Long Beach State is by far the most athletic team in the Big West Conference. Ain't no reason that this team should be out-hustled because of the lack of will and lack of want. I realize that you're Long Beach State. You're the big dog in the Big West Conference. You can jog up and down the court if you want. I realize that some players, unfortunately, have that mindset. But if Long Beach wants to win today, they cannot have that mindset. Expect a packed crowd at the Spanos Center. Expect Pacific to be going hard. And expect it to be a very emotional game for the Tigers of Stockton, California as well. It's very simple. Take advantage of what you have over Pacific, and that's athleticism, that's size, but it's not basketball IQ. Pacific is a very good team. Can Long Beach get to Pacific's level team-wise? Absolutely. I think Long Beach, even the way they're playing, somewhat individually, is a better team than Pacific. It's the best team in the conference. But is that going to win you 3 days? 3 games in 3 days in Anaheim? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. If you're Long Beach State, just go out there today, bring home the win. Sorry, Pacific. Sorry to spoil your evening, but Long Beach is going to have to play bad dog once again up at the Spanos Center at Pacific today. Thank you for tuning in, everybody, to the Long Beach State Men's Basketball Show. The regular season is coming to an end today at 5 p.m. on Fox Sports. Make sure you tune in, support your 49ers, and we'll see you Monday night. We'll come back. We'll hopefully talk about a 15-3 conference record. And, oh yes, it's finally time for Anaheim. 3 games in 3 days. The real season starts this Thursday, probably against Cal State Fullerton. But all of that we'll talk about when the regular season is finished. Monday night, Long Beach State Men's Basketball Show. Chris Sylvester, your host, here on Spreaker.com, an affiliate of National Sports. Make sure you tune in. My name's Chris Sylvester, and I'm out.
Radio killer, Big Snoop D.O. Dub, the American dream. Hey, yo, nephew, won't you come up off them keys and sing a little something for the ladies? You know what I'm talking about? Let them know how we feeling right now.
Every time I come around, it's all they let me down. Run up on me like this.